Warmly welcome to this conference, Peace is Possible, on the International Day of Peace. My name is Katarina Blom, and I serve as the host area coordinator at the Rotary Peace Center at Uppsala University. The conference is organized by my Rotary Club, Uppsala Linné, together with Rotary Club Järfälla and NBV, the Temperance Movements Study Association. NBV is a politically independent and religiously neutral non-profit organization. Its mission is to strengthen democracy and civil society, advance inclusion, enrich and widen access to cultural life, and promote sobriety and well-being. Uppsala Linné and Järfälla are, so far, the only two so-called Rotary Peace Building clubs in Sweden. Our theme today is both timely and urgent. It is now 80 years since the nuclear bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Few of us would have imagined that the very words nuclear war would again return to the global agenda. This makes our discussions today not only relevant but vital. We are honored to welcome a distinguished panel of speakers who will reflect on the lessons of history and remind us that hope and peace are still within reach. I would like to highlight especially the participation of our Rotary Peace Fellows. They represent the next generation of peace builders, bringing knowledge, courage, and commitment to create a more just and peaceful world. Their presence here gives us both inspiration and hope for the future. Rotary's mission is to build peace through dialogue, understanding, and education. You too can take part in this mission by supporting either the Rotary Foundation, which finances the 8 Rotary Peace Centers worldwide, or the Uppsala Foundation for Rotary Peace Fellows promotion. For those who wish to contribute, you will find information on how to donate, both here on the wall and on sheets out in the hall. The conference will be recorded. It's now my pleasure to give the floor to today's moderator, Kristina Jutterström.
Thank you very much, Katarina. And my name is, as you heard, Kristina Jutterström. My background is in the media world, public service, and Swedish newspapers. At the university here in Uppsala, political science was my major. And I feel, of course, honored having the possibility to moderate this important seminar. And I like the headline, Peace is Possible. The American government in 1945 chose Japan as the very first goal for the newly invented nuclear bomb in 1945, you know. That's 80 years ago now. Today, Japan is a completely different kind of state compared to in 1945, working, I would say, hard to get a nuclear-free world. And we now, at this seminar, have the privilege to listen to the ambassador of Japan to Sweden, Mr. Hideaki Mitsukoshi. And he sent us a recorded address. So let's listen to the ambassador.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Hideaki Mitsukoshi, the Japanese ambassador to Sweden. I am deeply grateful for this opportunity to address you today on the occasion of 80 years anniversary of the atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. First, I would like to express my sincere respect and gratitude to the Rotary clubs in Uppsala and the Rotary Peace Center for their efforts to preserve the memory for the world's first atomic bombings. 80 years ago, on August 6, the United States military plane B-29 dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima and on Nagasaki 3 days later. The immense nuclear energy released by the atomic bomb explosions completely devastated the two cities through blast waves, shock waves, heat rays, and radiation, taking the lives of more than 100,000 people living in those cities. Those who survived endured suffering from burns, radiation sickness, leukemia, cancer, and other afflictions, enduring days of tremendous hardship. The memory of these atomic bombs is deeply etched into the collective consciousness of the Japanese people. As a nation that suffered from atomic bombings during the wartime, nuclear disarmament policy has always been on top of Japan's foreign policy agenda. However, our nuclear disarmament effort is facing challenges by Russia's irresponsible threat with nuclear weapons regarding Ukraine, the opaque management of nuclear weapons by China, and North Korea's nuclear weapons development program. In spite of such extremely difficult situation, Japan remains firmly resolved to continue its efforts under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty regime, the cornerstone of the international nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation framework, toward realizing a world without nuclear war and a world without nuclear weapon, and to calling for dialogue and cooperation among all nations. With the average age of atomic bomb survivors now exceeding 86, and the majority of the population belonging to a generation that has never known war, it is imperative that we preserve their experiences and memories, ensuring they are never forgotten and pass them on across generations. The Japan Confederation of Atomic and Hydrogen Bomb Sufferers Organization, Nihon Hidankyo, has long worked to reveal the inhuman nature of nuclear weapons through survivors' testimonies and advocated for their abolition. The awarding of the Nobel Peace Prize to Nihon Hidankyo in 2024 is a powerful encouragement to worldwide to share the experiences of atomic bomb survivors and to continue our efforts toward a world free of nuclear weapons. We highly commend the Swedish government's proactive efforts toward denuclearization. For example, the Stockholm Initiative, led by Sweden, alongside 16 non-nuclear weapon states, including Japan, has worked under the NPT to bridge differences in national positions and promote concrete actions toward achieving nuclear non-proliferation, nuclear disarmament, and the peaceful use of nuclear energy. Turning to Japan, at the 10th NPT Review Conference in 2022, former Prime Minister Fumio Kishida proposed the Hiroshima Action Plan, a concrete action plan for a world without nuclear weapons. This plan focuses on promoting dialogues among nations and fostering the next generation of the leaders. Japan also established the International Group of Eminent Persons for a World Without Nuclear Weapons. Through 6 meetings held up to March this year, participants with the best knowledge on nuclear disarmament issues, including from Sweden, shared insights beyond their respective national positions and issued recommendations for the 2026 NPT Review Conference. Furthermore, at the 2023 G7 Hiroshima Summit hosted by Japan, the G7 Hiroshima Vision was announced as the first G7 outcome document on nuclear issues. It reaffirmed the commitment to a world without nuclear weapons, demanded that Russia not to use nuclear weapons against Ukraine, urged China to disclose data regarding nuclear weapons, and called on North Korea to refrain from nuclear tests and ballistic missile launches. Cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, since immediately after suffering from the atomic bombings, have continued their efforts to realize a world without nuclear weapons by appealing to the world about the threat of nuclear weapons. Every year, on the anniversary of the bombings, they hold commemorative ceremonies, meetings with mayors of cities around the world, striving for peace where peace declarations are announced. In this way, Sweden and Japan are both countries that continue to strive tirelessly toward the realization of a world without nuclear weapons. This point also was confirmed in the joint statement on the strategic partnership between Japan and Sweden, issued following talks between Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba and Swedish Prime Minister Kristersson in Tokyo in December last year. As confirmed in this declaration, nuclear disarmament cannot be achieved through unilateral efforts by just some nuclear weapon states alone. It requires balanced, verifiable, and irreversible approaches by nuclear weapon states. For achieving this, the reliable implementation of international commitments towards nuclear non-proliferation and disarmament is essential. Accurate understanding of the realities of the atomic bombings forms the foundation for progress towards a world without nuclear weapons. If you ever have the opportunity to travel to Japan, I strongly recommend you to visit the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum or the Nagasaki Atomic Bomb Museum. The number of visitors to these museums continue to increase, exceeding 2 million in 2024, with over 30% of visitors coming from abroad. These museums show visually what happened by dropping of atomic bombs, by displaying personal belongings left behind by victims, photographs of the devastation, and testimonies from survivors, alongside exhibits detailing the damage caused by nuclear weapons. The exhibits quietly yet vividly tell the story of the real lives of the victims of the bombings. These museums provide visitors with an opportunity to remember and pass on the message of peace conveyed by the survivors. Until last October, I was ambassador to Sri Lanka, and I had a chance to accompany the visit of a foreign minister of Sri Lanka to Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum last July. Although he knew what happened in Hiroshima as a knowledge, the impact of visiting the museum was striking for him. In Hiroshima, every August 6th, a festival is held where lanterns are floated down the Motoyasu River in the city, carrying prayers for the victims of the atomic bomb and for peace. On the same day, August 6th, a lantern floating ceremony is also held on the river Furison in Uppsala, and the bell for the peace is rung by Uppsala Cathedral. Sharing the sentiment of mourning through such an event is deeply touching for all Japanese. Tack så mycket, Uppsala. Thank you very much.